Today's a huge episode.
Huge.
It keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
We have Vixon Sullivan.
Vixon Sullivan.
Artiste. If you pay $5 to $7, it's like nothing compared to the amount of time and effort it goes into just one show. You have a strong mom?
Yeah, definitely. Like, one of the greatest things she taught me, she was just like, you're not better than anyone else and no one is better than you. That grounding just really put me in a spot to just kind of focus on what makes me happy, but also be of service and not undermine anybody else.
And now we start. But now we start.
Wait, are we starting now?
We're about to start.
Let's open
We're about to start. We're about to start. We're about to start. We're about to start. Start. Bring the beat back.
That's really misleading.
Hardest street boys, hardest street boys, hardest street boys, it's the hardest street boys.
Like and subscribe.
I just sweat a lot. I sweat in the AC.
Yeah.
I'd sweat butt naked in a snowstorm.
I tell people I get sunburn at nighttime.
That's moonburn?
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh. That's tough, man. How you been, Jamie? What's been up?
I've been well. I've had this last week, man. What a fun weekend I had last weekend.
Mm-hmm. Your show on Friday at the Hippo was insane. I gotta say, as your friend, it's really cool to go be a fan. We do this all the time. We work together, but then when you get to go see you do your music stuff in your element live, like if you haven't seen it, you gotta go. It's worth the trip downtown.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Shout out to DJ Milkstash celebrating a birthday. She came out. I had a lot of friends out there. A lot of friends were there anyway, but what a fun night. I love to do audience participation, and I think the audience gave me a lot to work with, and it was a lot of fun. A great night was had.
Your karate kicks are something to behold as well.
Yeah.
The hip mobility. You can tell versus Nathan Day is doing wonders for that hip mobility.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Nathan Day.
Yeah. Oh, no. Seriously, you did a great job, man. That was really, it is cool to go to that. And like for me, I kind of got, you did shout out, because some of the beats you use are stuff that we've recorded in here, like on your looper. Mm-hmm. And you're going like, is this a Drew Wooton beat or whatever? Which I thought was really sweet. Thank you. That was cool. But it's funny, like, for me, it was existential. Like, I think people think about us with the show now. But it's like, no, the reason I'm friends with Jamie is like because we both like watching USA Soccer at the Keg and Saints at the Keg a lot. We'd hang out there. But then also through like music, like just playing shows at the Hippo, especially.
Yeah.
Benny's Boom Boom Room back in the day. That's kind of that's how people ask how we got to know each other.
Through the music scene.
It's through stuff like that. So that's why it was so much fun. Me personally, just had so much fun. It reminded me of old times, honestly.
Now, you went to the Hippo 2 nights in a row. Tell me about your Saturday night at the Hippo.
Ray Bradford and Friends played. Ray Bradford, he's my favorite guest on the show, but I'm not picking favorites. Bass player, man, just killer musician. He has his own album out, Funkin' With You, all original music. All artists from Hattiesburg. It's really quality.
Yeah,
like a
killer group, man.
Actually, the link is in the description below. Go listen to Ray's album on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's everywhere. He has a YouTube channel as well, dude. So I actually went up there and he suggested doing like some interview stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll come up and do. I'm stepping out and trying to do that more. And I was like, I'll come up and do it. I didn't know what to do. I had no ideas. I was like, I'm in trouble because I don't know. I'm just bringing a camera and some mics, and I don't know what I'm going to say, what the angle is, whatever. And then it turned into kind of like an appreciation for musicians, like what they go through at sound check, how early they get there. Like if you pay $5 to $7, it's like nothing compared to the amount of time and effort it goes into just one show.
Yeah.
So it turned into that, but then it also just turned into this Thirsty Hippo love piece, man. Like I asked everybody in the band what they liked most about working with Ray, and then the next question was, what do you love most about the Hippo? And then it right in the feels, like there some of the right away the answers got real heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't expect that at all. But a lot of those musicians, they hadn't played at the Hippo since COVID. So this is their first show there in years.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've played a couple shows since they've been back open, but it's amazing, like just the history of that venue and the amount of love that people have for playing it. Like I saw your interview with Jaime Jimenez, and like you could see his eyes light up when he was talking about the Hippo.
Oh, and then when he says it's home, it's like, man, it made me feel things for sure. Because, I mean, I grew up with Jaime. I've known Jaime since elementary school. Like, I remember him from Tim's Elementary School. So the fact that we're getting to do cool stuff like that and that you have a place in Hattiesburg that allows the alternative kids, I know everybody else is N64, but the PlayStation kids got to have a place to go hang out too, you know? And it was just, the Hippo is that place, man. It's so cool. And, the show, holy smokes. They did 1999, Party Like It's 1999, Prince. Dude, the roof was about to come off. And this guy, I didn't get to interview him, Jacob Campbell. I think it's Jacob Campbell. If I'm getting your name wrong, I really apologize. The male singer, killer. And he turned some of Ray's original songs into like he turned it into like a shuffle where everybody just dancing to the left, you put it to the right. Everybody, the entire group, man. And it was just pure joy, man. Like it really was. There's not a lot of shows you go to and you're like, okay, we're all dancing. I know like maybe 4 or 5 people around me. Everybody else I don't hang out with regularly. But we're still like acting like we're best friends. It was so much fun. And that only happens through as Will Taylor was saying, like commitment to being uncommon, you know, consistently being true to yourself and doing your thing. And just some great artists, some absolutely great artists. And
you're right, man. Just the amount of talent, just insane.
It was, it was really cool. It was really cool. And that's my style of music too. Like I love the funk stuff, man. It's hard to beat. And it's cool that it's in Hattiesburg too. You know, it's good to travel. It's good to get out of town. It's good to go experience things. But don't say that we don't have talent here in town. You know, as that whole "you're never a prophet in your own land" type thing. We got some prophets here, man. It's pretty legit. But that was super cool. Yeah, doubleheader at the Hippo. I'm not mad. That was fun. And then Sunday, I went and saw Jacob Arnold at the Keg.
Jacob Arnold and the Birddogs.
The Birddogs. Let me just say real quick.
Well, rockin' country, man.
We know all this. So Paul Hagelston was, I don't know if he normally plays bass with them. Joey Odom was playing drums. Anthony Luker on keys. And Matt McGuffey, McGuff the Crime Dog, playing guitar. Man, they sounded good. Shout out to Joey Odom, who sounds great with the Deltamatics, but like this, I was kind of blown away. Like they sounded great, and I'm not a country southern rock guy at all, really.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that show.
Dude, they play a lot around here, and I know their shows are one to catch. I mean, I think they're playing a Summer Tunes next month, but man, they're awesome group too, man. They play at Sidelines a little bit, so yeah.
Yeah, and then I just when you sound good and then you're drumming with a cigarette in your mouth, I mean, say what you will about smoking, like it's not the healthiest, but I feel like it's okay if you're playing drums rocking out like that. If you sound that BA, you sound that badass, go ahead and have a sneeze, man. I think you earned it. It was tight, man. It was so cool. It was cool to see. And Sundays at the Keg are pretty fun, man. Like, there's a lot of people that go out. The Puckets, Allison and Chris, friends of the show, we love them. They do a great job booking bands and really getting people out. There were a lot of people there, man. It was packed.
Speaking of which, the Pine Belt Pickers will be playing this Sunday, at the Keg and Barrel. Sunday evening, about 7 o'clock-ish.
I see. I told you they book good bands.
Yeah. That, and there's a pretty cool little taco spot if you want to get some tacos right there in the back.
Yeah,
so.
Temas. Yeah, Tate's doing a great job. The birria is insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. And it's this little, he's got like this au jus, you dip it in. It's not au jus. I'm butchering that. I apologize.
Birria sauce.
It's just, it's this stuff you put food in another food, and then you eat it and it's delicious.
Sauce it up, boy.
It's so good, man. So that's what happened locally. I personally have been reeling since we had Leanne Morgan on the show.
Oh, man. She was so sweet. And she invited us to go vacation with her in Florida.
That was super.
She's like, come on down. Like,
undisclosed.
Dude, I might.
Undisclosed location. But yeah, she was like so nice and talked to us after we were done recording for like 10 minutes. Like we asked for advice and kind of got to pick her brain a little bit about, being in the industry and she is like, I don't know, man. There's lots of people who do well and they're not really great to other people. She's the real deal, though. It's not an act. It's not shtick.
No,
that she's being
super
nice.
Sweet. She's real.
She's real. She's super nice. She's super kind. Shared our stuff on social media. Just being just really, really kind, which makes sense when you're doing a gig like Last for Life, where you're raising money for cancer research. I don't think you get involved in that if you don't have a fair amount of altruism in your character. You know what I mean? She's awesome, and it was, dude. I know you said we've been a real show. I'm kind of joking, but she's like a legit.
When we book guests like that, I know what you're saying.
That's one of those kind of had to pinch myself, going man, that's
that's a big. I mean, like you say, she's on network television doing interviews and stuff. I mean, we're over here.
We have now interviewed her just like Dr. Phil has and Kelly Clarkson has.
Yeah.
The Today Show has.
Exactly.
And
you say she's been grinding for years, man.
22 years.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that was the best. That was the best advice. She's like, I've been doing this for 22 years, and she talks about God's timing, going she's getting bigger now, but she wanted to get bigger sooner. And the fact that she had a family with little kids at home, she raised those children, talking about how it's way better that it's happening now. But if you would have told her that 10, 15 years ago, she'd have been very frustrated,
Yeah.
So the whole thing, the overnight success, now you're finding out about somebody, who's blowing up. That doesn't mean they just started doing what they're famous for.
Putting in that work.
They've been putting that work in, but it is that perception of overnight success versus, focusing on the work, man. It motivated me, honestly. It was really, I think it was a good interview. I think she had some really cool stuff to talk about, and the Last for Life angle is really cool.
So if y'all haven't seen last week's episode, please check it out. It was a good one.
Leanne Morgan, yeah. And then I hope people know too, you can skip through with chapters. We want you to watch the whole thing, but you can use the chapters to go to the interview if you want to skip the recap. So
if you're watching it, for sure.
Yeah, man. It was good stuff. But we have Last for Life this Friday, so we're actually going to get to see Leanne, which is cool. Cool. We're doing the pregame party, right?
We are there.
You're the DJ.
I will be playing music.
And I just thought of this, I'll be Grand Inquisitor. I'm going to just ask Jones Company just questions about their business because they do a lot. They got this sweet new HQ in Midtown. A lot of people know Jones Logistics. And I want to find out what logistics are. And I want numbers. I just want to learn. So I'm not really going to be entertaining very much.
Well, I hope they're ready.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm actually not helping at all. I'm making things real awkward for everyone. But I'm curious. They're killing it. I want to know what they're doing and maybe do, learn some best practices from them.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be fun. We're going to have some musical guests come up, maybe somebody from Groove House.
We
don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But have some cool stuff going on. We might play some games as well. Maybe some trivia type things. But just playful. You can drink out there. You don't have to have a ticket to hang out.
Yeah.
So you can go downtown, hang out with us. And then if you don't have a ticket, that's cool. Just do something go to the Porter. The Porter's dope. It's right there.
Exactly.
So or SoPro or many of the other grill and grocery.
Yeah. Trattoria.
The Hippo's got Latranium, Skin Man, and MS Paint.
Yeah, there's a punk show.
Oh my gosh! But Latranium is synth pop,
Really?
He is killer. So killer. I want him on the show. I'm not just saying that because I want him on the show. He's killer. So there's lots of great stuff happening downtown, but come hang out with us from 5 to 7 outside the Sanger. We'll be the sweaty ones.
Yes.
And it'll be a good time. Today's a huge episode.
Huge.
It keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
We have Vixon Sullivan.
Vixon Sullivan.
Artiste. So we want to learn like why he got into art, how he got into it. What does he think an artist is? What is art, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty good question.
And like, what's he working on now? Like, what's he got up his sleeve? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to find out though. So after this, Vixon Sullivan. Community Bank.
Community Bank.
Yeah, Community Bank.
Community Bank.
Community Bank believes their success lies in their continued commitment to community and upholding the same small town values that they were founded upon. You know how long ago?
I don't know, like maybe 115 years ago?
Wow, that's actually correct. Wow, that's insane. They're relationship bankers. Whether you're trying to grow your business, grow your savings for your future, or building your dream home for your family, Community Bank is committed to helping you achieve your goals. Community Bank, a bank that knows community.
Member FDIC.
Equal housing lender.
Community Bank.
Yeah, Community Bank. Yep. Rachel. All right. Drama.
Right, a little spooky, right?
Intrigue. Yeah. Jamie's the fade in and fade out king, so you just have to let it cook.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Hey, hey.
Okay. Cooking, man. Hot in the kitchen.
Vixon Sullivan is on the show. He's gonna tell us what's going on with some of his art. He's gonna tell us how he's playing a part and he's doing some art. All kinds of art. He's Vixon Sullivan and he's on the hardest street, boys. Whoa, whoa. He's gonna tell us where we can find some of his art. Whoa, 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 whoa. And if you need some art, you can fill up your cart. You can do your part. You can fill up your cart at VixonSullivan.com. You can buy some stuff for your mom at VixonSullivan.com. Go and buy some art. And now we start. But now we start.
Wait, are we starting now? The interview?
We're about to start.
Let's open
We're
like,
about to start. We're about to start. We're about to start. We're about to start. Start. Bring the beat back.
That's really misleading. That was Chaos Pad Solo.
Back to the up and down.
Yeah.
The decrescendo.
Yeah, now we're about to start for real.
Really? You're not playing this
About
time.
to start for real.
Come on, man. Like,
We're about to start for real.
keep saying about to start. I feel like
We're about to start.
Yeah.
And I'm fading out. Start.
I'm sorry.
It's
Dick.
time to
Okay,
start
time is
the
precious.
interview.
All right, we are starting.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it, man. I feel like
was awesome.
the first time we were going to start the interview, like the instinct to stop there was probably correct, but I enjoyed the extra.
Yeah.
And it was really good, man. I also like the plug for VixonSullivan.com because we have Vixon Sullivan, artist, sculptor, personality, Hattiesburg legend. How are you today?
I'm doing well, man. Really excited to be here.
Man, we're excited to have you. I want to hear from you, man. Quite frankly, I don't know you personally, right? But I want to find out. I know of your name. I know of your work. You're hot in Hattiesburg right now. How'd you get into art, and what is art to you? Two real easy softball questions to start.
How did I get into art? I would say just leaning into what comes natural for me. Like, I've always been excited to like make things for the people I love and express myself and be of service through like visuals. And so I was working full time at Hattiesburg American. Awesome job. I got a chance to meet pretty much the entire community of West Hattiesburg and just was drawing my clients on the side. I don't know if I was supposed to do that or not. But I was drawing my clients on the side. And I resigned from the job and decided to pursue art full time and just kind of do that. My mom was like, this is your calling. And it's just something like powerful about your mom's like blessing and like encouraging you to do something. And so I ran with it. My sister bought me a desk. And so that gift along with the support of my mom, so it's kind of like a family thing that really encouraged it.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's really cool. You have a strong mom.
Yeah. Definitely like one of the greatest things she taught me. She was just like, you're not better than anyone else and no one is better than you. So just kind of exist and celebrate that. So it's just kind of that grounding, just really put me in a spot to just kind of focus on what makes me happy, but also be of service and not undermine anybody else.
I noticed that with people who are achieving, and at least that we've had on the show, they tend to be really humble and have like a healthy outlook on, there's not a lot of ego, you know. With art, I feel like maybe you see that less than you would in maybe other disciplines, but is that something you found and also is art something, what makes it unique? Because it is it's a different discipline, you know?
So I'm glad you mentioned like ego. I've been kind of self-reflecting. I mean, it's kind of my job. Mm-hmm. So and to put it back out there, what I found out. But I was not good at anything growing up. Like, I played everything because I like being a part, but I didn't ever get in any of the sports. Mm-hmm. I wasn't like the ladies' man, you know. I just kind of was, and my mom and dad, they didn't really push me to have like all A's and B's. And so I didn't have anything to be egotistical about. I was just there, you know. But again, it was also, I was celebrated for my personality. And so like, I never really experienced competition because at an early age, because I really wasn't any good at anything to compete with anybody. Right. And so it was something that was strictly for me. It didn't give me value in society. Like straight A's didn't give me value in society, or being good at sports didn't give me value in society, because art wasn't really a part of the curriculum in school. And so just it being I definitely think not comparing myself to other people and not having that ego allowed me to relax in the room and just really focus on what actually works and not be motivated by anything exterior.
Mm. Well, and you have to relax to be creative too, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I personally feel that way. Being uptight, it's very hard to, because art's like, I mean, not to get snooty about it, but it's a higher functionality, right? It's a higher level of like cognitive function I think to express yourself, how you feel, who you are. Do you feel like you get to do that, and do you feel like through your work you get to like stretch out that part of your brain?
I would say it's higher, but only if addressed from the standpoint of you trying to recover from someone trying to suppress you. So like, I was reading something, I forget the book, I think it was like Still Like an Artist, and they was talking about the summary of Still Like an Artist, and they was talking about how like cavemen, they used paintings on the wall to communicate. It wasn't like this, you know, I'm trying to impress anybody. It was strictly to survive, you know, and to communicate. And so, like, on the base level, we all are creating art, and we can all be intentional about the way we talk to people, what we create, you know, and focus on building positive relationships between a medium or actual person. So I think it is higher functioning, but that's just because it's complicated, because people complicate it. I don't know if that's really clear or not, but that's kind of what I'm.
No, I know what you mean, right?
Okay.
And I do think everybody gets to be a part of art, right? Especially like I can look at your work, but I can't produce your work, you know? And I think that's kind of what I mean more, like the fact that you can express yourself through sculpture or, you know, or pottery or what, you know, it feels like to someone who's not good at visual art, it feels like it's so abstract, and I have like such an admiration for it. You know, it's like how'd you get into sculpture? Like sculpture to me seems like the hardest. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's visual, but it's physical. It's not simply drawing on. It's not just 2 dimensions, right? So like, how do you get into that?
To me, it's the easiest of the two. I mean, if you're trying to make something 3D, you trying to draw something 3D 2D is converting it. But actually making something 3D is a little bit more, you can feel your way through it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got into ceramics because we live in a growing arts market that, you know, people can appreciate something functional, something useful versus something that's a little bit more expensive to put on the wall. And so to me, the art is the actual art, but that's not the most enjoyable part. Trying to figure out how to connect is the best part for me. And so that's my art form. It's like the communication of it all. Like, okay, we live in a non-arts market. We make something that's functional, that can get people interested in something that is functional, but also visually appealing and might be thought-provoking.
What's like the best example you have of being able to connect with someone else through your art?
I would say assessing where a person is from and creating something that gives them an opportunity to celebrate that. So, you know, it's just kind of simple. Make a magnolia because we're from Mississippi and you want to show a pride about that. You know, it's like, I don't know if I'm answering your question. Does that kind of help? Like that's the process of art for me. I mean, and trying to achieve making a magnolia look good is subjective. I could stop where it looks halfway like a magnolia, or I can really strive to make it look exactly like a magnolia, but I can't compete with God. And so wherever it lands, that's my product.
I like the idea of, I mean, you're right, it is functional, especially with pottery. You know, you got pictures and this, like the succulent dish is a big thing on your website too. I think that's actually just really smart to kind of, do you feel like that bridges the gap between like maybe somebody who's not really looking for art and then someone who's like really into it? Does that like bring more attention to your larger works?
Right. It's kind of like giving people something that they're familiar with, so it's more digestible. And then you can take them on that journey of, okay, I'm taking it up a notch. I'm making something that you can't really tell what it is, but you know where I'm coming from, so you look at it a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and one of your very big and huge works is the Vernon Dahmer statue outside the courthouse. How does that come about? Because that's huge, right? That's a serious situation that, you know, there's a lot to unpack there.
Right.
But it's like such a great thing that we have in the city, you know, in my opinion.
For sure.
I think it's positive. And if you don't know the Vernon Dahmer story, I mean, it's
Google it, look it up. It's it's not a good one, but
you need to know about it.
You need to know about it.
And that's one of those things. So let's at least acknowledge it. You need to know about it. But yeah, if you don't vote, you don't count. How'd you get into that? And what's that process like?
Man, I have this weird thing of just showing up in a room. Like, I consider myself a confident person. Like, I really took that to heart. Like, no one's better than me. You know, I might fall short, but like you do too. So I show up in a room, and a lot of times I show up and I'm the only one there who look like me. or I may be, and that may be black, or that may be age. It could be anything. And so I don't shy away from communities that I'm not familiar with. And I just think being of service put me in a spot to get to land the job. Just being the guy who always showed up when something was art related, and people knew that I took what I do serious. And so I think that they trusted me with it, and that was amazing. And I think it also helps to tell the story to have a black person creating that versus just kind of it being, you know, the best local artist in the city that you have. Like it you want it to be a spiritual thing, not just a job well done. Mm-hmm. Like,
it's not just a transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're actually putting out. Well, you're putting out something that evokes so much emotion in people too, that when it's created, it should have that same energy, right? I mean, that's only fair. Is that something you felt? Did you feel any kind of weight when you were going through that process?
I kind of went into it like open up to feel everything, like to actually put myself into feeling kind of what it meant to be him in that time. And it was great because I got a chance to see his family and see kind of how they moved on with their life in a positive way. And so it kind of let me know the foundation he laid in his home, you know, and just kind of imagining what it means to be from that time, to fight an uphill battle of equality. You know, it's similar now, you know, it's just, we literally can take the same energy that he embodied then and apply it now, and it will be just as necessary. Yeah. So it definitely was a learning lesson for sure.
Yeah. That's one of those things, man. Like, you did such a great job, and it looks great, you know. It's, sure. I mean, and would that be realism or classicism, where it looks as close to the real person as possible?
So I told you I didn't do so well. I didn't tell you I didn't do so well in school. But school, like, it wasn't the top priority. I think I got like a D in art history.
That's hilarious.
And so, I mean, because I really like where I land on things. I like examples, and I like to dive in, but I like where I land on things. I think it's it was definitely a step toward realism.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, you know, we wanted to capture what he looked like, so it is realism.
Yeah. Well, it's like, do you have models that you work with? You're using photographs? Like, I mean, that's tough.
Photographs, math, everything. You're measuring, like, you're looking at the anatomy of the human. Like, think our face is naturally like 9 inches. Most people's face is 9 inches, where the eyes fall in the corner of the mouth, the ears, how they go lower as you get older. You're paying attention to all that, and then you use a thing to scale it. You pick the size of one thing and get familiar with that, and then you scale it. And so it's measuring. It's my mentor, Ben Watts, he was a part of the project as well. And one of the things that I was most impressed with is we had got to a point to where it looked really good, and he just started chopping it up because it could be better. And so it's about not settling when you have a good goal as well. And so,
man, I just can't. I'm not trying to harp on it. I just can't get over it, because you're going, like, you know, we think like we post like a video on the internet and go, oh, that's forever. It's like, no, this is like a actual statue. This is forever. Like, this is immortalized, and the subject matter is so serious, you know. So it's one of those things where that just feels like that'd be a stressful thing to go through. But you did a great job.
Appreciate it, man. I guess I was a little present in the process, just trying to get to the finish line of making sure it looked good. I didn't really have a lot of time for stress. You know, it was an adapting thing, but I went into it like, okay, I don't want to let this family down. I don't want to let my community down. I'm just going to do what I have to do to get it done, and, you know, worry about that.
It's amazing what you can do when you feel like you have no other choice but to succeed.
Right.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of community, I was actually at the unveiling of that sculpture, and it was such a cool moment to see all these people there. You were up there along with the family and everything. I don't know, what a cool day that was in downtown Hattiesburg. I don't really have a question on that. I was just awesome. Basically commenting on how cool that was, that big unveiling ceremony in downtown.
I appreciate it, man. Not to be too chatty, but like, it was cool to see so many other people that cared about the community in the audience. So it's kind of like a reunion of everyone you'll see that's working to make Hattiesburg great. And so that was awesome because now it's kind of like reading a book and you know everything in it, but you're trying to get your community to understand everything that's in it. And it's like, if we all read the same book, we would kind of grow at the same pace and be able to communicate with each other better off of that knowledge. And so just to see everyone step outside and to get that insight on that story and see how it impacted the family and what went into the process and how we feel about it as artists, it was really good to have that PSA and, really inform everybody about it that actually is working to make the city better.
I'll tell you what, anything that encourages people to be together more, I'm for. And that's one thing I love about Hattiesburg is that there's lots of art and music and culture here that encourages people to just be together more, And that's what I think there's no simple solution or cure to all of our ills, but being together certainly helps. Something I really believe in. But all right, so we're going to take a short break, but after this we have a game plan for you. So you cool with playing a game?
Man, I love games. I gamify almost everything.
So we're going to do it. You'll fit right in. So after this, more Vixon Sullivan. All right, we're back with Vixon Sullivan. We're going to play a game. This is called Hey, Is This Art? Say it with us. Hey, is this art? We nailed that. I want to find out from an actual artist what is actually art. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple images. We're going to go one at a time, and you're just going to tell me if this is art. First one, here we go.
Yes.
That is art. I'm cheating there.
What? Yeah. Sorry to all our audio listeners.
Yeah, but also you can watch it. YouTube links in the description. These look like sculptures. What is this?
So I don't know if I feel like anything can be art depending on the context, right? Because sometimes you got to know the story behind it, right? But as far as this, I think it's art because it is celebrating and So let me just get into it. The three pieces represent earth, water, and fire. Wind didn't turn out so good, so I didn't post it. But I like to come to terms with the natural world. I really like to lean into the natural world, get to know it. It was here before us, and it has a lot of wisdom. And so I definitely think it's celebrating something that's already here, putting it in a different format, and communicating something. So yes, art.
Yeah, and these are available on your website, or is that like I've seen works like this on your website. So full disclosure, we're being kind of naughty. You did this. You made these. What can people find things like this on your website?
I mean, this is more of something that is from So no, you can't find it on my website because this is a part of my learning. I'm not trying to inform. I'm not trying to communicate anything with anybody else. It is something that I'm doing for myself for my own personal growth.
Man, love that. That's a great answer.
Hey, is this art?
Hey, is this art? For our listeners, this is what appears to be massive merman holding a kitty, very surprised with a starfish headband.
Can I ask your co-host, what does he think about it? Do you consider it art? Let me know.
Yes, I do consider it art. Very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give some context. This was for Hub City Humane Society did a Dudewoir calendar, a bunch of guys in town, and they wanted me to be Mr. July. So I got to be a beached sea whale at Paul B. Johnson.
Man, you're a merman.
Merman.
Massive merman.
I definitely think it's thought provoking, and I get the message, I guess. Entertaining. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the cat was actually scratching me, and I fell in love with that kitty.
All right. Well, judges say then it's art.
It's art.
Nice. All right, here we go. Is this art?
I would say so. I would say so.
For the listener, this is a mug with the it's the state of Mississippi, but with the colorway of the new flag. and with the magnolia in the middle. And this is more of that art that you talked about where it's practical, right? Where you'd actually kind of speaks to what people are used to. Is that what?
Yeah, I mean, but it's also a message. I think anybody who wears that flag or purchases that flag, they believe in progress. And so the caption and the concept behind that mug is to progress, like cheers to progress. And so it's definitely something that gives people something to identify with, something to represent themselves through. And so I would say so, yeah. Definitely art.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just a mug. It's not just a mug.
No.
Cheers
no.
to progress.
Cheers to progress.
Cheers to progress. Is this art?
Looks like child art. But yes, and then I'm feeling like it got to be art because they got a little context behind it. It's kind of like a story, and then they drew the picture to represent it. I feel like I'm gonna say everything is art. You think that's how it's gonna happen?
It's okay. It's you play the game how you play the game.
Okay.
There's no rules.
This is a letter to Santa you wrote,
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is actually I'm the artist behind this.
and you did this when you were a kid.
I mean, yeah. It was like a couple years ago. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, the reindeer do kind of look like ants. And
I want to know where your headspace was from, and when you did it, did you think it was a good job?
Yeah, it's art. Okay, so next. This is a 2-part because I feel like these go together. The nest
Yeah.
and the bird. Is this art?
So I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna switch it up a lot. It's art. It's art. I was trying to reach for something else, maybe a collectible for the bird, but no, it's art because it's my symbol for joy. The bluebird is my reminder to have sustaining joy. You know, not happiness, not always being happy with your circumstances, but looking for gratitude and understanding that like you here and you got the opportunity, so you should be joyful about that and finding grounding in that. And then the nest itself, the bird nest, it's the symbol for home. Like it's like a lot of time people are so focused on having a legacy, but they neglect their home. It's like you can't do both. You know what I mean? Like whatever your home is, whatever your dominion is, if you want to give something that is going to continue to give, that's where you need to put your energy.
Wow. Man, you're like really wise. How old are you?
32.
Yeah, you got some wisdom for 32. That's for sure. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Like straight up. And honestly, we run into this all the time. I'm not trying to harp on it too much, but people who are like crushing it on the outside, like if I see a Vixon Sullivan, I go, okay, I want that end result. I want that personality. I want that. I want to be that kind of artist. I want all those things that Vixon seems to have. It's not because you seek those things that you have. You, like you said, you care about where you're from. You care about the community. You put energy back into your home. We found that with everybody we've talked to who's crushing it. They're not really worried about necessarily the end game. It's the work that's right in front of them. So
Sure.
it's cool seeing that with you too.
Worrying about the wrong thing will definitely get you off the path. I mean, and I definitely believe there's a formula to success. I think we complicate things. There's only so much on the periodic table. It's all just mixed up in different ways, but somehow we like kind of complicate stuff, make it, things just stand in your way mentally. So the now is the time. Today is the most important day for sure.
Only so much on the periodic table. That's a shirt right there. I love that. All right, next up, is this art?
I want to zoom out, but zoom in.
It's the cropped image. We'll zoom out in a
second.
second.
With no context, no. With no context, it's not. Cool mustache.
This is me sipping a milkshake at Ed's with a mustache. I actually grew this in November for men's mental health awareness, so we're very pro mental health. But yeah, I don't think it's art. I think it's just a weird stash.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah, it's definitely not art.
Jamie hates this weird stash.
Although if it is art, I'm the artist because I took the picture. So
Photography. Wait.
there you go.
Was that your intention, or
Oh,
were you just?
Okay, so it's not art
No.
when it's just my face.
Just the subject.
But when we zoom out, literally and figuratively, and you took the photo, all of a sudden it becomes artistic.
Well,
you got to create a pedestal for it. You know what I mean? You got to exalt it as art, and then it becomes a little more debatable. But if you just took it and I just took a photo, no.
No, he wore a beret. It was intense. Okay. It was intense. Is this art?
I would say so.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, what?
And that's
what?
That I appreciate that. That's something that I really didn't talk a lot about with the world, because that was also for me. It's Father Time, and it was me trying to get closer to time as an element. Like, there's this poem by Benjamin E. Mays, and it's Time by Benjamin E. Mays. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny minute, but eternity's in it. And so that was a poem that I learned in college. And so with time management being a thing, you know, us not being here forever, you know, it's something you really want to build a relationship with and actually take serious. And so that was my journey in trying to understand time, meditate on time. And it was ridiculous because the hair, it's you start out with like coils to make it, right? You start out with coils to make the hair, like just little ropes. And then the hair, in order to make it look like hair, you have to create planes for reflection and show movement. And so Father Time, his hair is constantly growing. And so that's why it's so much, because, you know, he's forever. And so with that being the hardest detail and the most abundant detail, it was one of those projects that when you go to sleep, your mind is still doing it. And so you don't get rest because you're doing something in your head that you can never finish. And so it just keep going over and over. So it's that was a project that I lost a lot of sleep in, just because I couldn't turn my mind off from the physical action of it. But I definitely think it ushered in a better relationship with time. Not saying I was late getting here, so I mean, but it definitely gave me a better perspective.
I mean, it was like 5 minutes. It's fine. Everything's cool.
And I let y'all know, right?
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
you shot
Use
us a
your time
text.
wisely.
No, you were good. Now, so you talk about time management, like you're a busy guy, and there's so much going on from, you know, not just your art. Like you were just on Hometown, the famous HGTV show that highlights artists from around the area, but really promotes Laurel. Like, did that blow up? Like, as far as I feel like people see that show, you got a website where you can order, you know, pieces from you. I feel like your time management, it should be on your mind a lot these days.
Listen, the thing about time management, it is your time. So do not let anybody pressure you in a way that causes anxiety, stress, or takes your life away from you, because you have less time when you let other people take over your time, like you die sooner because you're stressed out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I definitely received an influx of orders. I was so grateful to be found on Hometown, because I think Aaron and Ben care about their home, and I align with that. And they want to invest in their home, and I align with that. And then also, I think, how much more intimate can you get than creating something that other people take and put in their home and see every day and use every day and gather around. And so I think that's the perfect place, the alignment of that, and the opportunity, the blessing of that, for people to find me in that. I think it's like a movie that has the right props, you know what I mean, that really tells the story, both in the actual storyline, the script, the movie, the props, everything. I guess what I'm saying is well placed, that in my life. And for people to find me on the show there, I think they, even though they don't know me, they understand me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was definitely busy. And then my products are like so detailed. A lot of people dip their pottery to get one color, but I use multiple layers of colors. I brush glaze. I do everything myself, and the people who help me are not the people I asked, but the people who believed in it and joined hands with me, and so that it's just a good place to be in.
Yeah.
And I don't allow people saying, well, when you gonna restock, or I need this by this time or this by that, to take the good out of it. And so that's a part of time management as well. So
Yeah. It's just a lot. It's one of those, like, you don't talk to somebody that often who really has the opportunity to be that busy. Like you said, you were grateful. And while there's stress that goes with that, or there's certain obstacles you have to overcome. I mean, just the fact that you're in that conversation and that what you talked about earlier, you made how many 1,600 different little hearts for Forest General Hospital? Like, who does that? Who goes, I need to make 1,600 of anything?
I mean, think about how many people don't feel loved. And if you got the opportunity to show love to somebody and make somebody's day better, think about how many homes that impact. Like if somebody gets something they feel grateful for it, they go home and they treat the people they love better. And then those children or those people go out and they treat people better. And so I made them for COVID. And I felt like it was a high stress time for people who were taking care of other people. And so I was like, how big of a ripple could I make if I give a little love to this group of people who need it? You know what I mean? And so I expect to see it, whether it's from when I die and I'm looking down on the earth. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like, I expect to see that ripple of what I do. And so I want to make a positive one.
Man, that's so awesome. Well, I know you made Jamie feel good. You did like a scavenger hunt. What was that, Jamie?
Yeah, Vixen and I have known each other for a couple of years, and I just happened to see a post where he said he was going to be dropping some keychains for anyone who'd find them in the little libraries downtown. And I happened to find a keychain. It's the state of Mississippi outlined, and it really touched my heart. It just kind of made me feel good. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I still have it. I love your art, and I love, like you say, the functionality of it. I think it's awesome. And that was such a cool thing for me to find that and just happen to see that post,
So if you go somewhere, I know you don't have it on you think you told me you don't have it on your keychain.
I don't have it on my keys because it's art, and I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, if you go somewhere, maybe wear it somewhere, just so people can know you from Mississippi. And do y'all think that the world kind of the United States kind of give Mississippi this little hard time, but it seems like when you go places, they're so appreciative of our personality. Do y'all get that same thing?
Oh, definitely. I think there's something unique about coming from here and then being able to showcase in a good light. A lot of people have their ideas of Mississippi, but being able to go and showcase and see like what a good ambassador, like there's a lot of great ambassadors for Mississippi, and I think that's what it is. I think it's we are hospitable. We're a lot of people are very down to earth and very kind and willing to help any way. Because I think that's a good trait of people from Mississippi.
Yeah, and I do think it can be welcoming as well. I get a lot where you don't seem like you're from here or whatever, which is I kind of take that as a compliment, because like this place is still welcoming to somebody who doesn't maybe sound like a stereotype. Maybe I'm not really sure. Like, I haven't thought about it that much, but I do think about when I'm not in this state how I carry myself and how I sound. Because there's a certain attitude, but it does feel like there might be a certain negative attitude. But when people get around you and they find out you're from Mississippi, they're just curious. Like, so what's like? It's almost like you come from like some mystical place,
right?
And it's just like, it's just a place like your place. So, yeah. All right, I love this.
Sorry,
but we are don't please don't apologize. I love it. Hey, is this art?
Oh, I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Back to the game.
Sure looks like art to me.
No, like I'm wondering, like, how did you pick these? Like, what made you pick these? Because everything that you're picking is either something for me or something that I've given and not really done for the money. And so the spirit is there. And so it's easy for me to talk about it. This piece, I would definitely say, is probably some of my favorite art. It's this concept that we're all playing a game. You know what I mean? Like, life is a game. That's how, it feels a lot of the times. But then also, it was going on Martin Luther King Street in Hattiesburg. And the African American culture, we love to play cards. I'm not stereotyping. I grew up on spades, speed, and so I wanted to do some imagery that related to the community. You know what I mean? But with this whole idea that life is a game, I wanted to kind of put imagery in it that reflect that life is not a game. We're real people. You know what I mean? And in this particular image, it's a man and a woman. You can flip it either way. And it's them supporting one another, and they're passing down peace. So it's a synergistic, the passing of the olive branch to one another. You have the crowns on the head, kind of like opening them up to, insight. And I chose to do the afros gold and put the rays from it. I think on the man's side, he has the torch, leading with light, and he has the heart. Both have love. With the infinity sign, the woman, she has beauty. And so it's just like the layering of these elements to kind of project, optimism. So it was a 2-part thing. That was a painting for the courthouse where children are being sent to be sentenced. And the requirement for us was to put the word hope in it. And I felt like it's kind of cruel to ask somebody to have hope when you're not going to give them justice.
Yeah.
And so, you send somebody to jail asking them to have hope and to get a cut, I felt like it was one of those things that was a difficult thing for me to do. And so I tried to take those confines and make it as positive as I can. And so hopefully people will come in and, see, have a positive experience with it and not just see hope and be blindly convinced that everything will be okay. It's kind of rambly, but it was a lot that went into it, and it was a while back. So
no, I mean,
I painted it.
It's really cool, man. And no, you talked about how did I pick things? I mean, I just picked things that spoke to me, You just pick things that you like. And the same thing with anything with art, A lot of your stuff is really cool. I love the pottery stuff too, but something like this is like I grew up Catholic. It kind of reminds me of almost like sainthood, kind of with the rays coming out.
I use that as a reference.
And I was just like this is pretty cool. But it's this new take. It's really awesome, man. So all right, we got time for one more. You ready?
I'm ready. I would definitely say so as well.
Yeah.
I mean. But a lot of people, I struggle with realism being art a lot of time but in context with the story, what I know went into it, I would say so. Yeah. Because it was not just making it look like this. It's not a reproduction. It's not a replica. It's not just kind of transferring one image to another place. It was spirited. It was kind of, it has an impact. It has a message. So I would say so. And then it's accompanied with words. So if you ever go to the Vernon Damer statue, it'll say, if you don't vote, you don't count. And I think it's definitely a call for everyone to realize that they have a voice. And so whether it's at the polls or in your home or in a classroom, everyone should feel like they have a voice. And they should understand that speaking up for themselves and speaking up for others is the route to change. And so I definitely think it's inspirational. And if you go to it, also there is a secret on it. This is weird because it's like I don't think if I don't tell you the secret, you're not gonna find it.
Okay.
But if I tell you the secret, it's no longer a secret.
Right.
How should I handle it, guys?
I'm not great with secrets, and I'm always the last to know. So please tell me.
I think you should whisper it into the microphone.
Okay.
No.
So,
Can Mike hear me?
so this is the secret. If you go up to it, the buttons, instead of having the cross like hatching for the thread, it's a V for Vernon Damer on the buttons. And his wife, she's 94 years old. She actually did that part of the sculpture. So, wow. It's kind of a secret. All right, we won't tell anyone. Okay. All right.
That was a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Whisper it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
feel less like I'm betraying the story by just whispering it. So,
Man, no, that's really cool. And it's seriously, it's the attention to detail, things like that set people apart. And man, I don't think I've met anyone like you, and I mean that in the best way. incredibly just like, wow, kind of blown away, man. This has been really awesome. Thanks for sitting down and talking with us.
Thank you, man. Thanks for inviting me. Like, I watch you guys, and I've been kind of like, just excited to see that Hattiesburg is actually putting their best forward. I think that y'all are some of the best people to do this. Like, so, I mean, I'm glad to see everybody finding their groove. And I think that we are, coming together and magnifying it. You know what I mean? Saying y'all in y'all groove, I'm in my groove. And so I'm just glad to be here. Thank y'all for inviting me.
Dude, thank you again for coming. You're inspirational. I mean, I'm sitting here just kind of like moved. I'm just blown away. You're so profound. Everything you've been talking about, I'm like, holy, I don't even know what to think right now.
What you should think is play some music, Jamie.
Okay.
Look at me, I'm a merman chilling on the beach. Whoa. Look at Drew, he had a mustache.
He didn't try to fit the standard. He didn't try to go for realism. He was just doing his thing.
I love him crossing things out, like writing words and crossing
I
out.
hope you had a good time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're listening to the show. You're listening to the show. I hope you had a good time.
Does he freestyle?
You might need to watch the show.